Play as a Dino and ARK TS confirmed. A new server cluster emerges. And what's going on with the crashes on PC? You're right kids, it's Ras Clark and welcome to your regular ARK community news. Before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, share around and let's get into it. So the news I covered last week of Jeremy, the co-founder of Wildcard, announcing a few things, Gen 2 ARK TS Commander and Play as a Dino. Now let's face it, a lot of us thought this was a late April Fool's joke, due to how it was delivered in such a candid tweet. But now it has been confirmed in the community crunch by the dev team that this is a real thing. Play as a Dino and ARK TS Commander are coming. I went into these in great depth in my previous news video, go check it out, I'll leave a link in the description. And it's just mind blowing that this is going to be a thing. Now a lot of theories and comments were put on my video about this, and I'm inclined to believe that some of these are perhaps right, that these are going to serve as new Genesis 2 missions. Of course, Genesis 1 has a range of different varied missions. I'm actually doing a playthrough of all of them right now. Go check my playlist, I'll leave a link in the description. And it serves as a cool new way of playing ARK, with of course good feedback following the missions, with a majority of people preferring them to be separate and not to take over the map, which the devs are doing now, and the Genesis 2 missions will be their own separate entity. They won't be on the map. You'll be able to access these through the ship, like some Star Trek virtual simulator room in your spaceship. And if this is the case, the dev team are now ramping up what those missions are going to look like. And what this begs is, if they're looking at ARK TS Commander mode, Play as a Dino mode, what other mods that almost made it to the official cut that are now being integrated into this mission mode might make a return? The big one, of course, is Survival of the Fittest. This was such a fantastic addition to ARK that the devs just let slip away. They stopped supporting it and it just fizzled out. Of course, MTS, More Than Survivors, jumped on board to make their own iteration, and it did really well, and sadly that's kind of slipped by the wayside as well. And why is bizarre to me, because the battle royale genre is such a big thing. A lot of people enjoy this mode, and if ARK really ran with it and pushed it out there, I do truly believe this would be such a loved and enjoyed mode by many players. It just isn't and wasn't pushed enough by the dev team. But could this see the return of that? I hope so. I really truly hope so. If we're going to see an ARK TS Commander and we're going to see Play as a Dino return, surely we can somehow integrate the return of Survival of the Fittest. And what other types of missions would you like to see? Drop a comment below, let me know. What old mods that almost made the cut before would you like to see? Or what new modes would you like to see in this new Genesis 2 mission delivery? It's a good theory that these could just be missions, but they could totally be their own separate game mode. And if they are, does that mean we're going to see more mods being released in between that gap between Genesis Part 2 and ARK 2? We'll have to wait and see, and hopefully we get more news very soon. Classic PvP cluster merge, a new cluster of the same clusters that you know coming together as one. So if you don't know what classic PvP is, it's a hark back to the ARK of old, where tech wasn't a thing, and up until now only had the non-tech based maps, such as Extinction and Genesis. However, this new cluster will be bringing them all back into the fray. However, we'll be removing any tech dinos, all tech engrams, you won't be able to build in caves, with a few creature nerfs to balance. However, titans will be available to use on this map, but only on Extinction, as they won't be able to be transferred. Above all else, experience gain, taming and gathering will be increased to 250%. That's a lot. Breeding, hatching and raising will be doubled to 200% as well. Meaning if you want to go back down memory lane, but still utilise all the maps that have came out since, or just want a different style of gameplay, then the new classic PvP will drop in the first week of May. It doesn't say if this is for all platforms, but I'm going to assume it's probably just PC, as the original classic PvP servers were PC too. But I'm excited to try this out, and I hope you OG players are too. Of course, there's no Evo event, no multipliers, because the Eggcellent adventure is still running. There's still multipliers, especially breeding and maturation, as well as all of the new colours and skins. And I did a guide on this, again, link in the description. The sale that I went through last week is still running, and if you're on PlayStation especially, it's a great time to get involved and get some of those DLC maps with a big chunk percentage knocked off. And the community crunch dropped on a new few videos from a few creators out there. One in particular I love, Neddy the Noodle, who's been running videos on all of the lore in ARK. Go check him out, I'll leave a link in the description if you're inclined to learn anything about the lore at all. He makes absolutely fantastic produced videos and really does deserve the attention for the sheer effort he puts into these videos. Good old Cantex got a shout out. He does some fantastic large scale fights, pitting creatures against creatures and seeing who's going to come out trumps. This video in particular, they look at all the fantasy creatures versus all the dinosaurs in ARK. Who wins? Go check out the video, link in the description. And finally, MGen got a shout out on a mana trap. And it's great to see these types of traps being put out there and offering a unique, cheap way to trap creatures, as opposed to those ugly dino gates. And lastly, there's been a lot of crashing going on PC. Not every server is experiencing this issue, but a lot are, and there's a lot of disgruntled players out there. Now, the team addressed this in the Discord to say they are aware and they've identified a possible fix, which fingers crossed they'll be rolling out in the next few days. It seems it's related to save data, so they're very candid on how they're approaching this, as they ultimately don't want to ruin your saves. So it sounds like they're going to roll it out to a few servers first, make sure it's running stable, and then roll it out to all the other servers out there. So if you're playing on one of these servers, hang in there, a fix is coming, and hopefully will be resolved soon. Thanks all for tuning in, I hope you enjoyed this. What do you think about the Genesis 2 missions? If it is missions, is it a mode? What do you think, missions or mode? Drop a comment below, let me know what more mission types do you want to see in Genesis Part 2. I really hope we get to see Survival of the Fittest, but we'll have to wait and see. It's not too far away now. May the 26th is so far the date that Genesis 2 drops. Fingers crossed that's the final delayed date. We'll see. My name's Ross Clark. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and as always, peace out.